The story begins in the heavy atmosphere of the evenings at Fairmont Crest, where the soft clink of glasses echoes in the glittering space of luxurious parties. There, the warm light reflects from the brilliant chandeliers, but behind that beauty is an elaborate web of lies, woven from sweet lies and calculated actions. Hayley, a woman with a gentle and trustworthy appearance, is the one who weaves all these dark secrets. Everything starts with a simple lie, a fake pregnancy story that Hayley tells to win Bill's attention and trust. From here, her plan begins to expand, not only stopping at seizing his love but also creating an illusion of a future together, where she is the mother of a child that never existed. The scholarship fund for a child that Bill believed would be born gradually became a tool for Hayley to control his finances, an unlimited source of money that she could draw on without suspicion. By subtly manipulating Bill through sweet words and soft actions, Hayley began to build a world of her own. She skillfully used the love and trust that Bill had for her to trim his assets without leaving a trace. Each time Bill withdrew money for the scholarship fund of the imaginary child, each bank statement he received, all were perfect covers for a grand scheme. Behind it, Hayley not only hid the truth but also created dramas that she could control, from fake ultrasound images to edited medical bills. Everything was subtly arranged, making Bill believe that he was contributing to a good future for the family. However, keeping this secret is not easy. Small mistakes begin to appear, and they can ruin the whole plan. Mismatched medications, irregular bank statements, all of which gradually become factors that threaten the perfection of the network that Hayley has built. However, with a strong survival instinct, Hayley quickly adjusts everything. Not only is she skillful in covering her tracks, but she also knows how to create drama to ease Bill's suspicions. She is a woman who can pretend to be innocent to the point that no one can realize that she is manipulating everything. Although Hayley has a remarkable talent for maintaining a perfect appearance, she is not the only one in this game. Randy, her accomplice, although having the same goal, lacks the sophistication and restraint. He is easily exposed when he hastily joins the plan, creating holes in the story that Hayley has carefully built. While Hayley was able to bypass Bill's skepticism by controlling every step, Randy was not skillful enough to deceive perfectly. He believed that Bill could not see through their scheme, but in fact, the opposite was true. Bill, though caught in Hayley's web, was not an easy person to fool. Small events, inconsistencies in Hayley's story gradually made him start to doubt. Although his heart was still full of love for her, deep premonitions in him could not help but warn of the deception lurking around him. However, the love and trust he had for Hayley made all his doubts fade away. Intimate conversations, gentle words, all were part of her plan. And Bill, with the heart of a loving man, continued to devote himself to a future that he believed would come true. So how can Hayley maintain this secret when everything begins to fall apart? She faces challenges from her partner in crime, Randy, and from the flaws she can't stop discovering. But with a survivor's mentality, Hayley continues to adjust her strategy, creating cover-ups, turning every suspicion into inexplicable events. She knows that in this world, just one wrong move can bring everything down, but she is willing to gamble to keep what she has achieved. Every lie Hayley tells, every calculated move she makes is just a brick in a castle she cannot let anyone destroy. She not only builds a fake relationship with Bill, but also creates a financial empire for herself, an empire she will not let anyone take. But can her manipulation last? Or will there be traces that Bill will eventually find? Hayley's story is not a simple game of lies, but a fight for survival. She is not a fictional devil, but a real woman who has faced harsh challenges in life and has been forced to become sophisticated and cold to survive. Her actions, from faking ultrasound images to trying to poison Bill, are all strategic moves to maintain her position in this life. While Randy lacks the ability to deceive perfectly, Hayley is a true player in this dangerous game, one that no one can easily win. And while small elements begin to reveal her shortcomings, Hayley continues to proceed with her plan. Her perfection is not without risks, but her lucidity and ability to control everything makes her a formidable opponent. Can Hayley maintain this manipulation until she achieves her ultimate goal, or will Bill and those around her discover the truth? The story of Hayley, Marquita Goings, becomes more tense and dramatic as her true nature begins to be revealed, and with each step, she becomes a more scheming and ruthless character, making the audience unable to take their eyes off the screen. Before the dark secrets are exposed, we only know Hayley as a close friend of Naomi, Ariel Pripati, Bill's new wife, and the details surrounding her are still vague. But now, as important details begin to be revealed, viewers gradually realize that Hayley is not just a simple girl, but the person behind the cruel fraud plans, along with Randy, Maurice P. Carey, her cousin, in a game of intrigue. The story of the relationship between Hayley and Randy makes the film more attractive because both are not only liars but also manipulators, ready to use any means to achieve their goals. Hayley's actions become more sinister as she continues to try to take down Bill, Timon Kyle Durrett, the man she has deceived and used. Her continued dosing of Bill with poison, even in tiny doses, really makes the audience question the character's underlying evil. She fails the first time, but in Thursday's episode, she succeeds in convincing Bill to drink the concoction at the law firm. This success not only marks a step forward in her plans, but also shows the audience how cunning she is in manipulating others to achieve her goals. What makes the story even more compelling are Hayley's inner thoughts, which we hear in her inner scenes. These thoughts show that Hayley is not as innocent as she appears, but is extremely cunning and ruthless. She clearly tricked Caroline, Ellie Wong, taking advantage of her naivety and trust, but she also didn't realize that Caroline was slowly becoming suspicious of her. Although Hayley is confident in her ability to manipulate others, the truth is that her actions are creating loopholes, and Caroline may be the biggest threat to her plans. Caroline's suspicion seems to be a key element in the story, as it could spell the downfall of all the plans Hayley has worked so hard to build. Will Caroline really realize that she is just a pawn in Hayley's hands? And if she finds out the truth, how will she react? These questions add to the tension, as we can't predict Caroline's decision. Is she the one who is suspicious of Hayley? And if so, what will she do to deal with her best friend, the one she thought was her loyal friend? The story becomes particularly tense when Hayley and Randy realize that Caroline could become an obstacle. Hayley's words about removing obstacles show that she is willing to do anything to protect her plan. This danger is not only for Caroline, but could also be a wake-up call for those in Hayley's group that she considers no longer useful. Hayley's ruthlessness is exposed more clearly, and the lengths she will go to maintain control over Bill and those around her make the story even more terrifying and intriguing. So will Caroline be the one to save Bill in this situation? Her connection to Bill, though tenuous, could become a key factor in confronting Hayley. If Caroline learns the truth, she could be the only one who can help Bill get out of this mess. But will she have the courage to face Hayley, a friend she trusted? Everything is still unclear, and this makes the story more unpredictable than ever. Every situation, every decision of the characters in this story can change the situation. Hayley, with her ingenuity and ruthlessness, is gradually becoming one of the most terrifying villains in the film. She is not only a manipulator but also a woman who is willing to do anything to protect what she considers her achievements. The relationships in the film become more and more complicated and dangerous, and the story of Hayley, Caroline, and Bill will continue to raise questions and curiosity about how everything will develop. Will the truth be revealed in the end? And can the deceived people find a way to win against these scheming plots? The story takes on new depths of complexity when the return of Danny, a woman from Bill's past, brings tension to the forefront. Danny is not just a ghost from the past, but a strong, resilient figure who brings Bill to a new perspective on his relationships. With Danny's presence, pieces of Bill's past, warnings, and unmistakable loyalty begin to emerge. Danny is a new source of energy, instilling in Bill a new awareness of the flaws in his current relationships, especially with Hayley. Danny's presence, though subtle, is full of hidden meanings, not only forcing Bill to look back on his past, but also highlighting the cracks in the wall Hayley has built. Danny's warnings are a wake-up call, helping Bill realize that everything he believes in may be an illusion. And from there, Danny's role gradually changes, from a potential rival to a trusted ally in the fight for the truth. Although Bill's feelings for Hayley remain strong, small signs begin to appear, like missing pills, erroneous bank statements, and especially a metallic taste in Bill's mouth one morning. These seemingly innocuous signs are the first clues that lead Bill to the terrible truth about Hayley. Gradually, things become clearer, and Bill begins to notice that Hayley's actions are not right. The sophistication and cunning that Hayley used to trap Bill is gradually exposed in the light of truth. The seemingly perfect stories suddenly become tangled and full of holes, making it impossible for Bill to continue hiding his suspicions. But instead of confronting him immediately, Bill decides to use a more subtle strategy. He forces Hayley to face the truth by giving her the wine she poisoned him with, not as revenge, but as a way to force her to confront her lies. It is not just an act of revenge, but an attempt to restore justice and force Hayley to face the consequences of her evil actions. The tension reaches its peak as all the lies Hayley has built up are gradually exposed. However, her downfall is not the dramatic confrontation one would expect from a dramatic TV series. Instead, the unraveling of Hayley's web of lies is a slow and painful process, built from small flaws that no one notices, until they become cracks that can no longer be hidden. Hayley is not subject to a quick end or a dramatic confrontation. She falls into a state of helplessness, unable to control everything as before, as her tricks and schemes begin to be exposed. Meanwhile, Randy, Hayley's accomplice, is also unable to avoid this collapse. His mistakes in executing the plan highlight the fragility of the conspiracy they have so carefully built. Randy's haste, lack of calculation, and clumsiness further highlight the fragility of the game Hayley has created. He is a character who reflects the shortcomings of their plan. Ambitious as he is, he cannot keep up with the sophisticated steps Hayley has outlined. Ultimately, the film does more than just expose the truth and deliver revenge. It opens a profound perspective on the moral ambiguity of justice and revenge. Bill, a man who once hoped for redemption and loyalty, now faces the harsh reality that self-preservation cannot always be based on sentiment or noble ideals. Sanity and the ability to see the truth are vital elements of survival in a world where manipulation and lies never last forever. The final moments of the story do not bring a neat resolution or a complete ending, but rather a questioning of the consequences of life's small choices. Can Bill forgive himself when he discovers the truth, and can he rebuild a new life when everything he believes in has collapsed? The story ends in ambiguity, not with perfect revenge or justice, but with a new understanding of life, where relationships and small decisions can lead to unforeseen consequences. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. All the content I make is just speculation and personal sharing. If you find the video interesting and useful, please support me with a like and leave a comment. If you have better ideas or more interesting speculations, please share them in the comments section for everyone to discuss. I appreciate all your contributions and support. Sincerely, thank you.